they say all men are created equal.
Shaq Master!
I'll pull out the Glock.
Full of suffering, succotash, son.
It's one of your nuts hanging out of your shorts.
Real glass!
You have a father, but your father's dead.
Hello everyone and welcome to another Dynamite review. Obviously, well, first and foremost, it's just me this week and Isadela, and my apologies for that. We had scheduling issues yesterday and then today we both planned to film, but fortunately Lucy is not feeling too well, so everyone send, their best wishes towards Lucy. Some nasty bugs going around at the moment. But yeah, so again, last week didn't do a review. Sorry, went to the dark side. It's so weird because obviously there was some good feedback to that. A lot of people who wanted us to do that were receptive of it. I think, maybe we got a little bit of a new audience. Don't know whether they'll stick around, but some people who might have not watched our videos before, I think probably clicked on that, which is cool. But obviously that's not what we're mainly about. This is mainly I think it's called fucking Too Sweet. It's mainly AEW focus, this podcast. But yeah, it's crazy because we got like a bit of a split reception of two extremes. I think there's like one comment by one of my favorite subscribers, I guess, because they just hate subscribe, saying, "We've been over this. Why are you watching WWE if you don't like WWE?" And then another person being like, "Don't come crawling back to AEW." So that made me laugh. So thank you for that. Very normal. Thanks for being normal about wrestling. Yeah, but yeah, it was a bit of fun, but couldn't really do both. So for the 50th episode, we did the NXT. First reaction, I haven't caught it this week because I only watched Dynamite literally a few hours before going to film this. So these are just my fresh reactions. Don't really know that much about what people are saying online. I clicked on the Wrestle Talk podcast, which I don't really watch it that often, but I was just waiting to run an update on my computer, and especially since I'm by myself, and I haven't really read anyone else's opinions. I don't really like to be in like an echo chamber, and also my head's a bit fried, so I feel like I'll just try to watch, because I used to love Wrestle Talk. Like that was always my shit. That was always my podcast, like the one that I'd always go to, like out of all the wrestling YouTube channels that there are. But I don't know, sometimes they're quite down on it these days, and I only got in like 10 minutes. I was like, nah, I'm just going to jump into filming straight away. But the top comment was someone saying, I feel like AEW's been really bad the start of this year. And I don't feel like that at all. Like, I am highly, highly, highly enjoying what we've been presenting. I think they've started this year really strong. Again, I think it's a case of negative feedback loop. People need to be told. And that's like me. Like, why do I need to go and check Reddit, check Twitter to see what people think of the show before I film my podcast? Like, so dumb. Why don't I just come on here and tell you how I feel? And obviously I'm not on here to be like, oh, positive. Like, I'm going to keep it real and say how I feel. But why do I feel the need to do that? Stupid. But yeah, last week, didn't get the Dynamite review out, but we did watch it and we both agreed on 9. For the rating, if you were curious, even though we haven't filmed it, we did decide we're going to rate the ones that we missed just for like consistency and end of the year, because at the end of last year when we went to go and review it, there was a few that were missed out. So, just consistency's sake, that was a 9. I already have it in my head what this episode's rating is going to be, and it is going to be lower than 9, but yeah, stick around for the rundown and for the end, where I will reveal my final thoughts, which are obviously the only opinion that matters. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. And then also Collision, I really enjoyed Copeland versus Big Bill. That was like a real highlight. That was a real mood booster, that match. I just love how in most of Big Bill's matches, obviously he's not going to win, but just the crowd being so behind him, and like I said time again, just love to see more. There's just never enough Big Bill. Like, I could just watch that man all day, every day. So entertaining. But Yeah. I think I definitely will catch up on NXT though, but obviously this was the priority because I'm like, I need to push out the review. But yeah, I definitely, like I said last week, I really want to at least just keep with it a little bit longer consistently. And realistically, my prediction right now is I probably will just watch the women's wrestling, which is kind of what I do with WWE when I do tend to watch WWE. Also, Penta debuted. I didn't watch it, but I heard that he lost. But I don't know. Do you know what? He's making that money. He's making that money. I mean, he was making that money at AEW. I don't know. I don't know. The merch looked sick though. I will say that. Like the white top that they pushed out, very nice, very nice. But yeah, and they were selling his mask for like $80. I think that's quite wild. But anyways, we're gonna get into this special edition of Dynamite, Maximum Carnage, and yeah, let's just delve into it. I don't think there's anything else of random note that I wanted to touch upon, so let's just get into it. So this the start of this kind of had like a pay-per-view level build where it was running down all the feuds and the matches that were coming up. So that was quite nice. If I had to like surmise this episode with like one word, it would be hype. There was so many hype packages in comparison to like the first week of January, not last week, the week before that we did review, and we were like bitching about, oh my god, there's so many like video packages, and then people were like, yeah, because new people might be watching it, and we were like, oh, but yeah, there was a lot of hype packages, and it began with that, and then another thing was the venue. The venue was tiny. Oh my gosh, it was tiny. It was quite jarring, especially to start with. I know a lot of people have been calling out for smaller venues, but yeah, I don't know. Like it's definitely an adjustment. I kind of was riding with it a little bit more towards the end. It was very Lucha Underground-esque with the tiered system, but it didn't look entirely filled either for like such a small venue. Like I didn't check the ticket sales, but yeah, so the first match, Brian Cage versus Kenny Omega. Of course, we're going to jump right out of the gate with the banger, the most anticipated match, because that's how, the Dynamite tends to roll these. And yeah, like because we didn't review last week, and then last week I'd say we rated it at 9. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And it was Kenny's big return to, well, he kind of returned before, didn't he? But it was his, he returned kind of, and then he returns. Sorry, my brain's not. He kind of returned, but not in ring wise. And then obviously had the Wrestle. I think it was Wrestle Kingdom, Wrestle Dynasty. It was Dynasty, wasn't it? Match. So yeah, that was really cool. And seeing him again, I mean, this match was an exhibition match, and I knew that going in, so it didn't really piss me off. Like on paper though, seeing Brian Cage versus Kenny Omega, and you're just like, really, out of all the people on the roster. But it makes sense. He's got the history with he's got fucked on a history with Don Callis and the Callis family. And like I said, it was an exhibition match, and Brian Cage is kind of that perfect opponent. But it was just so great to see him. He looks in the shape of his life. Like, he looks great, but in a totally different way. Like, before, he was bulked up, but he's a lot leaner, but he's moving really clean. It's just great to see him hit the V trigger, hit the one winged angel, just all of the Germans, all of the Snapdragon suplexes, just all of his moves that we've like been clamoring and waiting to see for so long. Just great to see. Yeah, he was running rings around him to start with, but then we had the distraction from Lance Archer, which meant that Brian Cage gained the advantage. And also, no, like this. No, actually, don't. I was gonna just pop off at how that one person in the comment said that like we'd only been wrestling fans for like a few weeks. And that randomly just hit my brain, and it just randomly, like, when you touch something hot and it's like that reflex. Like, I'm just thinking I mispronounced someone's name, and now everyone thinks I'm like a poser. But that was the other thing that made me laugh last week. Sorry, this is an ADHD review. Like, I think it was Osprey Oh, who was he in the ring with? And he like he said their Fed name. He said their dead name. The he was like, give it up for, and I can't for the life of me think who it was. One sec, I need to remember this. That were it. That were it. It were Buddy Matthews, but he went, give it up for Buddy Murphy. He went, Matthews. And I was just like, that made me feel so much better about myself. Like, do you know how, like, you just kick yourself after saying it? Like, oh my God. I retain every mistake I ever say as well. Like, I hate myself for that. I just wished, like, I could film this podcast and not do it after work because it's always after work and my brain is just deceased. It's just whoo, it's flown away. It's on a lot of caffeine and it is not running properly. So, but yeah, that had me pissing myself. That was the other thing about last week's episode. I'm sorry, I'm meant to be reviewing this week's episode, not last week's episode, but I found last week's episode fucking hilarious. I just found it so funny for some reason. But yeah, anyways, so yeah, Omega kind of Kenny kind of resumed the advantage. Regained it after the picture, but he had a nasty beat down. Got to see him be thrown onto the announce desk, and yeah, I feel like with the diverticulitis and his gut and his abdomen area, it really feels like when Danielson would do spots, it really hits like close to home, and it's so difficult to watch, but it's so effective. It's that emotional investment that I have into that parasocial relationship that I have with that man. Oh my lord! But yeah, yeah, it was just a really fun exhibition match. Like I say, did the V trigger, won with Angel, picked up the win. Then we had Lance Archer and Kyle Fletcher coming in for the beatdown, and then Osprey came out, made the save. They sort of had, it was like very superhero esque, like not superhero, but more like, I guess like a fighter game, Final Fantasy, Mortal Kombat, Smash Bros, all that type vibe of, I don't know, like taking down a boss together. It was just a cool sequence, and I just loved them two working in tandem together because oftentimes they are at opposing ends uh, of the opposite sides of the ring, as it were. So yeah, they just look great together. And another duo who thought looked great together was when Takeshita and Cal Fletcher, in the end, they stood victorious and did the Brainbusters in duality. Those two look great. So many people on this show just look like stars. Like this show, Dynamite and AEW is full of talent and it's full of stars. And I saw this great comment that someone made, and again, I'm not gonna claim that I said this, but people say, WWE, this is the criticism of AEW. There's no stories. There's no stories. And I said, yeah, WWE has the stories, but AEW has the characters. I was like, oh, like a good knife through my heart. That was like, that's so true. AEW has the characters, like they're so well developed and well shaped, and all the arcs they've been through and shades of grey. But I just look at the roster now and I just think, God, there's some stars. And you look at people like Okada, Kenny, they were made elsewhere in Osprey, but people like Kyle Fletcher and Takeshita and Daniel Garcia who've really come into, and Swerve, come into it in AEW, not to denounce or like say that they didn't have achievements elsewhere, but the success at which they have been able to extend their star power and their reach to a large audience through AEW. Yeah, I just, and I say it every week, and we'll just get matches and I'll say, oh my God, like we are living in a great timeline. Like we're getting Hangman versus, I don't know, Kenny this week, or we're getting Osprey versus Swerve, and these are stars. This is the same energy as SummerSlam 2002 when you run down that card and it's banger after banger after banger, and we get that weekly, and I will never let anyone forget that. I will never ever let anyone forget that, because we are so blessed. Moment of gratitude, 5 things I'm grateful for, 3 reasons I'm grateful for being alive, I'm alive during this wrestling era, and it's fucking amazing. Honestly, it's so good. But yeah, rewinding a little bit back, loved when Takeshita came out and just shoved his belt in Kenny's face. Like, it just really cracked me up. Obviously, they had the little brawl and the Brainbusters, and the Callis family stood tall, which, yeah, I think that everything was logical. It made sense. It was an exhibition match. Like I said, there was history. Kenny obviously picked up his return in victory, but then the Callis family, because they're trying to rebuild him, they looked strong. And I was really worried because I was like, I don't really want Kenny in the Callis family. Like, I kind of want him to go do stuff with Okada, but that's kind of been leaked that that's going to maybe be an all-in thing or a Forbidden Door thing. So I guess that's why they're stretching it out. But I was like, I just don't know, because the Callis thing, when he was feuding with them, it went on for a while. Oh my God, it went on for a while. And we just want to see Kenny be pushed. We just want to see Kenny be pushed. We just want to see Kenny dominate everything and win everything. And, like, you know, we want to see him at the top of the card. And the Callis family aren't. They're like mid-carders. So, but when Takeshita came out and they were face to face, I was just, ooh, that was a bit of me. Oh, that were delicious. That were tasty. That was a lovely, lovely snack. Love it. That was refreshing. I like that. That's what I want. I want that. I want that. So, yeah. I like that a lot. Then we got these, like I said, hype packages, but this was weird, right? So we had MVP. He was in a bar, and he were like, I don't even know what he was saying. He was just like, yeah, I'm MVP. I'm a great manager. And then we had the Learning Tree, New York Minute. I don't think these fully landed. I don't think they were fully developed. But it was something new, and it was fun, and it was interesting. And it's not just, I'm backstage on, what do you think? Oh, I'm taking the mic. This is what I think. Like, obviously, that has a huge place in wrestling, the backstage interviewer. But I just, yeah, when there's 10 in a row of people being asked a generic question and it just gets predictable. And like I say, I want to see more dynamic things. And I want to see more things in the ring rather than being filmed outside. This was filmed outside, but it's just a bit different, a bit of variation. Like I say, don't think these ideas fully cooked, but I'm happy for something other than an NPC backstage interview. So, yeah. Then we had Ricochet coming out, instant ball chance. He had the scissors in the suit pocket. Very nice. The presentation of the character is nice and it's well done. You know, you can't argue with it. Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely acquired a lot more aura. Which is good, you know, making the most of his opportunities, making the most of going to a new company and, you know, reinvigorating your career. I think a lot of people, they go to another company and they just bring exactly what they brought in the other company. House of Black, maybe Alistair Black, Malachi Black. No, he's allegedly leaving AEW for the 1000th time, but you know, I think there is a bit more smoke where there's fire and all that. I think there's a bit more to it this time. I think there's more signs of confirmation than there have been in the past. I don't want to say it's fully confirmed because I've now been very loosely following the news. No, but you know what I mean. Like, people come over and they just give exactly what they gave, and they burn out quickly. Especially with AEW and its booking style. Because Tony Khan is like kid in a candy shop. He's like, I'm gonna book you against a bunch of irrelevance, and then I'm gonna give every big feud, and it's gonna happen on Dynamite for free. And yeah, try to keep your character intact throughout that. Try to keep your aura. But we're gonna burn you out within like a month, kind of like TNA with Hulk Hogan, and I mean TNA with Kurt Angle when they just burn out on Kurt Angle rapidly. That's kind of what it's given at points. So yeah, it's I think it's clever when someone can reinvent their character and their self. I will give credit to that. But yeah, they had the Swerve house chants, and the crowd, they had a lot of heat. He just let the heat run, which was nice, you know. And he just said, a picture says 1,000 words, projects on the Tron a picture of when he attacked Swerve with the scissors. Swerve's music hits, and Nana attacks Ricochet with the chair, getting revenge for the week previous where he was attacked. after the assault on Swerve with the scissors, and then just fucking emoted, did his little Fortnite dance. I love that. Swerve entered the ring with the chin, tried to attack Ricochet, but he scurries off through the crowd, like literally trips over as he's like going back, and he throws a security guard in the path of Swerve. And I thought it was really fun because the venue was so small. He just literally opened the door and was on the street. Like that's mad. And later it was confirmed that on the 5th of February, we're going to get Swerve versus Ricochet. And I think it's early days. It's early days, lads. And like I say, I think the feud of this year, if they continue it, potentially could be Ospreay versus Fletcher because we've got so much history. But obviously we've got all the Kenny feuds that are going in. You know, I guess it depends how much we kind of get behind when we have him versus Okada, or potentially even him versus Takeshita. I mean, I don't know. I definitely think a Kenny feud will be up there. But I think this feud has very early potential to be feud of the year. Not right now, obviously. I guess it depends how long they run it. But I think they could have a lot of fun with this. And I don't doubt that the match is going to be fantastic as well. And yeah, I mean, Swerve in one of the top feuds last year with Hangman, I could easily see this being something that isn't just a throwaway match, but has a bit of longevity, because it's really, I love when a feud brings out the best of both characters and it makes the two guys dig deeper. And I think this type of feud, it unravels like each character's insecurities or deeper motivations. I don't know. I just like it. So yeah, that'll be fun. Then we had another quirky video package of a day in the life of the CEO. She's on a little belt collector run at the moment, Monet. Yeah, this is what I mean though. Like, it's never like, oh, do you know what? We're gonna do one quirky thing today. We're gonna do the Learning Tree New York minute, whatever the hell that was. No, we're gonna do. Everyone's gonna get one. You get one. You get one. You get one. Like, it's just never. Nothing's ever in, what's the word, moderation. Like when the NPC backstage interviews, it's like we're gonna do 1,000. Like, okay. But I guess, I tried to watch it through the lens of what you guys told me. Like, this is maybe there's still some viewers who are getting used to the product. It's on Max as well. New year, people falling off World's End, and maybe they just want to keep that like continuation of easy storytelling by sort of making it easy to access the characters. I suppose that was my thought process. Then we had the Hurt Syndicate versus Private Party and Matt Briscoe. It's had a slow start with the heels being in control, but it geared up towards the end. It had a bit of a weird finish though, because Lashley pinned one half of the tag team champions, which is a huge statement. Matt Briscoe was right there, but no. No, obviously they have their eyes on the tag team titles. Also, we had MVPs in ring debuting in this match as well. I just love MVP. Like, I love everyone in the Hurt Syndicate, but yeah, shout out to MVP. He's a real one. But yeah, obviously because they have this, it's like, oh, we got a win on you, so we want a shot at the tag team titles. But yeah, it just makes Private Party look quite weak, don't it? But I'm not going to be mad if they dropped it to Hurt Syndicate. Like, I don't think they're really doing much with the belts. But then I don't think like where do they go from here if they just drop the belts? Because I think it would be fine for the tag titles and the division can keep ticking along fine, but for them, it's like the Bucks thing never even happened. Like, I just feel really bad for him. I just wish they had a bit more prestige around their reign. But I don't know, maybe they'll retain. But if they do go against the Hurt Syndicate, but I just don't see how that could possibly happen when you've built up the Hurt Syndicate. You've kind of booked yourself into a corner at that point. So Yeah, they made a little rated FTR, a little video like, oh, we're all best friends and we love Bret Hart in our tequila dungeon and all this lot. Now we've got one of my favourite bits of the show. We had Jeff Jarrett and MJF verbal sparring. They did so the previous week, but this was a lot of fun. So Jeff Jarrett is barely able to finish his sentence before MJF comes out. I really popped as well when he launched his like chewing gum into the crowd, and I can't remember which commentator it was, but one of them went, "Oh, she's just giving some gum to a fan," like just so nonchalantly. Yeah, MJF is doing his usual stick. He's antagonizing Jeff, and the crowd gives a shout out to Karen. Obviously, we've got to get that cheap heat of like, I'm gonna screw your wife and show what a real generational talent is and all this lot. And yeah, Jeff Jarrett talked about the Owen and his passion that he gained throughout that, which that was a great, I can't think of the word, little arc. I really enjoyed that, and I really enjoy, let's say, his whole hyping Danielson up as a mentor. Like, I've really enjoyed everything that I enjoyed the Texas Leather Death Chainsaw Massacre Deathmatch match. I enjoyed that. That's great. That's a comfort match. Okay, that is a comfort match for me. But yeah, I've enjoyed everything Jeff Jarrett has done in AEW personally. Like I've had a lot of fun with him. But yeah, he was just so nonchalant, which I loved. He's just a chill guy. He's done it all before, and he's better than him at it. But then Jeff Jarrett, right? Was it just me? He was really, really mean for no reason. I feel like no reason. I feel like he went way out of pocket. Way out of pocket. I mean, obviously towards the end, MGF kind of brought it back and kind of, double it, pass it on, double it, pass it on. Uno, I'd fought. That's kind of what it felt like I was watching. But this mid bit, Jeff Jarrett absolutely just popped off, right? He just absolutely annihilated not even Max, just the women in Max's life. He took a little dig at his parents, your mum's a call girl, and all this lot. Then he starts coming for Alicia. I'm like, what has she done to you? Like, what is your beef with her, man? He's like, yeah, she's a call girl. She's in the car. She's in the car parking lot for 60 minutes while you're running your match with like 10 different guys. I was like, Jesus Christ, Jeff. And the crowd was just like, because he's the face clearly in this situation. But the crowd was quite quiet. Like it was awkward. It was very entertaining. I found it very funny. But it was just like, okay, Grandpa, like, calm down. Whew. But yeah, and then he was all like, oh, you're a scared little boy. Talked about his insecurities and him being a one-hit wonder. And MJF, I say, came back with his own sort of nasty comeback. He centered in on Owen, how he's riding the coattails of his deceased friend, called him a succubus carny. And yeah, at this point with the mention of Owen and those sort of digs, Jeff Jarrett, he was tipped over the edge and laid into him. So yeah, I wonder whether this, like, I can see Jeff Jarrett saying I want to be retired by Max. Like, honestly, I could see that. Like, I don't know though, but I can see this sort of like being the conclusion. As to whether they have like a mini feud, then he kind of chases the belt, then Max costs him, and then they have like their finishing match, and it's like career versus career, or career versus, I don't know what other high stake there could be. But yeah, I can totally see Jeff Jarrett having so much respect for Max and being like, yeah, I think he's the best, and he's a generational talent, and he's so young, and I would love to put him over as my going out match. In terms of Jeff Jarrett's final match, I don't think it's going to be like sting. Like, I don't think it's going to be this like feel good moment. I think it's going to be angsty. I think it's going to be painful. But I feel like that's what Jeff Jarrett would like. I don't know. I don't know. This is just like my thoughts and feelings. But I'm really into it, and yeah, this was just it was just fun. It was entertaining, and like I said, that midpoint, I was like, "Whew, Jeff Jarrett, like." I think you've I think you've done enough there. I think like you've done enough damage. Like put the microphone down, let the heel speak. But you know what I mean? Because like in AEW, he's just like that friendly granddad. Like he's not really giving like his younger years of being a little knobhead. But yeah, that came out. Max is bringing that out of him, but I'm kind of into it. So yeah, and then we had the announcement. We've got Ishii versus Okada at Collision. That'll be a lot of fun. Looking forward to that. And then we had the Christian versus Hook match. He was attacked by Hook mid-entrance. This was a pretty mid-match, not the most interesting. I mean, this feud in general just does nothing for me. Like, I was quite intrigued at the start, and Taz being attacked, and Taz actually returned tonight to commentary, so that was nice. He was away, I think, he was attacked, then he came back, and then in kayfabe, and then he had, I think, a family issue. I think that's why he's been away. But he returned, so it was great to see the comms desk in full force. And yeah, I don't know. Like for me, this feud has been very stop start. It's been very much on pre-shows and Collision, and it's not been given a level of prestige for me to feel like it's high stakes and like I care about it. I feel like there'd be a much more interesting way to go about this. I would much prefer to see Nick Wayne versus Hook, and Nick Wayne sort of being sacrificed to Hook and Christian kind of hiding behind it, and maybe building the tensions between Kip Sabian, because he's like, well, why isn't Kip fighting your battles, but he's your favourite? You know, I'd like to see some more development from the patriarchy. I think I feel like it's been a while since we've hit a major plot point. He's got the contract for the title match, but like, so I think that's going to bring some kind of forward movement for the patriarchy, but I feel like they're kind of just there, and I kind of need something more. Like the last thing was Kip Sabian being added, and there was tensions, but then we haven't really been playing up on those tensions. I just need a little bit more, and I just think this story could have been told in a more interesting way. But yeah, Shibata came in for interference at the kill switch. Hook tried to hit the red room, but Kip and Nick break it up, which causes the match to break down. Taz throws his headset off. This part was really funny. He was like, I'm not just sitting here, I'm getting up. And then Samoa Joe came back after 6 months off, which it was just so great to see. This actually didn't get spoiled for me because I haven't really been on social media, so I didn't see this. It's very rare that I don't get a return spoils. This was like, oh my god, Samoa Joe, you're back. And yeah, he saved him, didn't he? Gave him a little hug. The gang's back together, Shibata, Hook, and Samoa Joe, and all their history, their match that they had, which was very just very career making. I feel it's one of the most career making matches that Hook's had so far, and it really gave him a level of prestige and authenticity. So yeah, it's fun that they're like this ending and Joe coming back kind of made up for, like I say, the holes that I'm picking within this feud and within the patriarchy at large. But yeah, it's great to have Joe back. He's definitely a huge presence, and yeah, it's just fucking Samoa Joe, isn't it? Like, who wouldn't love a bit of Samoa Joe? Then we had another little video bit. It was like Daniel Garcia, Undisputed Kingdom, and Jay White, and they're sort of like saying their qualms and going to what happened to Casino Gauntlet, and people want gold, people want this, people want that. Like, all right, cool. They had Jeff Jarrett with Renee, and Dustin Rhodes comes in. He talks to Jeff Jarrett. He's basically like that PMO. He was like that PMO. He was like, outlaws never die. I mean, I don't think that makes a lot of sense, but fair enough, bro. Then we had Mariah May on commentary for the Women's Casino Gauntlet. We had Statlander, Hayter, Megan Bain, Julia Hart, Willow, and Tony Storm. It was fun to have this, to have something that's a bit different for the women's division, not just a one-on-one, because we don't tend to really get stuff like this on. I know like Casino Gauntlet's out like on a weekly basis, but like on the men's you get to see like trios and tags and special matches. And I feel like you only really get maybe like a stip match on like Collision. So yeah, it's always fun to see something with a bit more dynamics into it. And Harley Cameron as well. But it never really got going for me. And the ending was a bit weird. This is just a vehicle basically to get Tony to, because obviously the winner of this is going to Grand Slam Australia against Mariah May, and Tony won. And yeah, it was to the inside cradle to Julia after she'd misted Harley Cameron. It was a very lackadaisical, anticlimactic finish. And speaking of Grand Slam, bit orcs that in it, because we did talk about the whole ticketing issue and why it wasn't in a convenient location in Australia, and then they lessened the venue, but tickets still weren't really selling, and now it's gone from a pay-per-view to just a special Dynamite, like flying halfway across the world to a special Dynamite is just ain't a good look, Chief, is it? It's not a good look, but it'll be what it'll be. It'll be what it'll bloody be. So then we got to the main event, which was Hobbs versus Moxley. He's in his hometown of Cincinnati, Ohio. And yeah, I was really hyped when Hobbs won last week. I think that's really fun. Love Will Hobbs. Love him getting the opportunities that he absolutely deserves. And I was really interested to see how this match was going to play out, because Hobbs definitely, he has like the obvious size advantage, and he's so pissed off and like geared up and ready for this. I'm like, how are they going to play this? I know it's going to be through disqualification or whatever, so how is this going to work out? But yeah, he had a really great showing at the start with a little skirmish around the crowd, and then we had the biting of the ear to Mox in the corner, who then got a shit ton of colour. It was sprayed all over the ring canvas. He was living his best life. He was in his hometown, and he was, giving his old, I think he used to wrestle CCW, is it? Back in the day, covered in blood, when he used to have hair and his little chin. But yeah, I'm sure he was living his absolute best life. Like all those memories, he's covered in blood. He's in his hometown. He's living that's that man's dream. That man dreams to be just covered in blood, being beaten to a pulp. He's a fucking sicko. But yeah, fortunately, what kind of gained the advantage was the Psycho knee from Yuta to Hobbs, who still managed to deliver a spine buster. Then Shafir comes out, Maria Shafir comes out and hits Hobbs over the head with a briefcase. And he kicked out. Then he received a paradigm shift. He kicked out, and then it was the bulldog choke that led him to pass out. So I loved this finish because it didn't make him look that overly weak. He kept taking damage after damage after damage, and he was like, no, no, no. And in the end, he literally had to pass out to lose. So I think it was great. It was a great match. And then we had the Death Riders beating down Hobbs, and yeah, they were attacking if I have to hear one more time, the surgically repaired knee. Oh my god, how many times can you say surgically repaired knee? Oh, they're going for the surgically repaired, not the surgically repaired knee. Shut up. I get it. But luckily, Rated FTR come out, the gang, the Bret Hart fan club, the Tequila Bret Hart fan club come out. They're like the equivalent of wine moms, but the tequila dads, and they come out and save the day. A bit too fucking late, but they saved the day, and that concludes Dynamite. So yeah, I had a lot of fun with Maximum Carnage. I enjoyed myself. However, I will say, like, there was some nice matches. I enjoyed the Kenny match and I enjoyed the Hobbs versus Mox match, but I don't know, there wasn't like any particular match where I was like, wow, like, oh my God. So, but I had a lot of fun, but I think for me it was a 7.5. That seems really low. That seems really low though. But I've got to be honest, it was a 7.5. But I still had a lot of fun. I still had a lot of fun, but yeah. There was nothing that was like, wow. I mean, I guess Samoa Joe returned. You know, we'll bump it up for 8 for Joe. Joe. We'll bump it up for 8 for Uncle Joseph, Uncle Samoan Joseph. We'll bump it up for him. Bumping that. Bumping that. But yeah, it were all right. I'm loving Dynamite. I don't know what that come for that random person on Wrestle Talk. Everyone's allowed their own opinion, but I think it's great. I'm really enjoying Dynamite in the direction that. Why my pupils look crazy? I'm really enjoying the direction that it's going in. So yeah, I don't think you can really fault the writing and stuff. And people are sick of the Death Rider stuff, and I just think I don't get it. I do not get it. It's a long-term story, and there's so much intrigue within the group and the dynamics. And it's not like nothing's happening. Like, there's constantly people rising up to try and meet the Death Riders. We had sort of the broken team of Orange Cassidy, Jay White, and all that lot, and Hangman. But that fell apart because they weren't unified. Now we've got Rated FTR. They're unified, but can they do it? You know? And then after that, we'll probably get Darby after he fucking survives. Well, I don't know. It depends whether he's frozen. I shouldn't say that. I was going to say whether he's like a little landmark like green boots, and you just look down, it's the skull painted face of Darby Allin in the ice, and you're like, yep, there's Darby, that's that checkpoint. I shouldn't say that. Anyway, hopefully he comes back alive. You'd hope. I mean, man's been hit by a bus, but everything's just scary, right? Anyway, but you get my point. It's very forward moving, so I don't understand. Maybe you're just not into Marks, maybe you're not into being edged for the title, but I'm into being edged for the title. Like that really does it for me. Like, ooh, I've been teased, like it's in the briefcase. Ooh, who's gonna rise up to the challenge? And I love Mox because he was loving himself during the Hobbs match, because that's what he wants. He wants that bloodthirsty, hungry babyface to come up and take it. But like, you have really got to take it. You've got to be able to. He's not going to give any handouts. But he's loving it. He's loving it. He's loving the fight and the passion. He's like, more energy, more passion, more passion. He wants the passion, baby. Like, I want the passion. But yeah. Yeah, we'll wrap it up. Next week, we will both be back together, me and Lucy. And so I'm literally just having to sort of sing to just who do I think I am, Naito? Yeah, I'm just kind of having to sort of sing to close this out. Not that this is a task or anything, but just keep my head together. But yeah, we're both back together, and we'll have a Dynamite review. And in the coming weeks, we have a very fun video planned that we're both super excited about, and you will also enjoy. And it is AEW related, so to all the people that are here for all my little Dabala basement dwellers, my little cringe dub fans, you will love that. So yeah. Enjoy the rest of this miserable, shitty January, and see you next week. Thanks for watching.
I must bid you adieu, goodbye, you rock, and good night, bad.
I wish you died in the womb.